If learning is a process, we really need to be able to look at what's happening in that process.
We really use this space to create community, a community of colleagues.
So what do you want help thinking about?
It's essentially the basic inquiry process of defining a question and collecting data and coming up with new understandings along the way.
This is so much different than other professional development opportunities because it gives me a chance to really show other teachers what my students are doing. It's a glimpse into my classroom.
Teachers improve their practice as they understand what their students are doing, how they're thinking. It's a really lovely method of improvement. What we know about teaching is that professional learning is really at the heart of good teaching. And if you look at how teachers spend most of their collaboration time, what's really missing is the time where teachers say, how is this or is this not supporting my students' growth?
In this space, we wanted to slow down the furious planning forward that is such a big part of your work and say, okay, so I'm trying to do some aspect of this. What's happening?
Mills Teacher Scholars is a community university partnership program where we bring expertise from the School of Education out into the community to support teachers who are already well into their practice to improve their practice.
We're using the same protocol that we've used every single time, and it's the protocol to create a thinking space. So what really matters is that you're getting a chance to think.
This year, we specifically wanted to focus on a newcomer teacher group because there's been a huge surge and increase of newcomer students in the Oakland area. Over the past 3 years, the number of newcomer students have doubled. That's in high school, middle school, and elementary. So we're bringing together teachers from all over the district.
Certainly teaching newcomers who arrive with oftentimes a lot of social emotional trauma, obviously very large language needs and need support accessing content and community services. There are just a lot of demands on that classroom teacher.
Having 150 students and 25 students in the room at a time, it's very difficult to provide that individual feedback and to really be able to accurately assess how my students are doing, how they're progressing on a daily basis. This is one struggle that I have.
The process that we take teachers through is that we ask them to really zoom in on one particular high leverage instructional activity that they want to get smarter about. And then to ask themselves, how can I make student thinking and learning visible?
From those questions comes problems of practice. By interrogating multiple sources of data and evidence, they derive their own solutions to their problem of practice. And this work is done collaboratively. One of the teachers that we're working with is Jade Talbot, and she's a high school teacher from Castlemont High School, and she works with newcomer students.
My inquiry work is surrounding my warm-up routine. And basically my warm-up focuses on a written reflection piece, so students have time to write in their journals. And then it moves into a pair shared discussion where students have time to talk to a partner about the warm-up prompt. My goal is to design a warm-up routine that really strategically and effectively prompts individual student reflection through a written piece and also small group discussions. So since the last...
First she has them write and responding to a question, and then she's really trying to get them to have academic interactions and what that means. So sometimes that might just even start with their social emotional disposition. And then in addition to that, what support can she give them to increase their level of interaction and increase their level of talk?
What students were doing was just reading exactly what they wrote in their journals. They feel comfortable talking about what they've written, and then once it goes beyond that, they are kind of stalled. How can I design warm-up routines that will really prompt student engagement?
So once teachers have formulated an inquiry question, they then begin to think about, well, what routine data source can I use to help me answer this question or help me find out more answers?
Jade has chosen to focus on her academic discussions that happen at the beginning of every class. She's chosen to video record those discussions, and she brings those recordings to our monthly inquiry sessions. And she has a chance to think about those alone and then think about that data together with her colleagues.
I am collecting a couple pieces of data. I'm collecting what they're responding to in written form in their notebooks. Also video data, so a video recording of their conversations with each other. I brought about a 3-minute video recording of 2 of my focal students and shared some questions and some ponderings I had with the teachers there. There was a point though with both of them where they were trying to clarify. They didn't really understand what the other one was saying.
We want our teachers to bring in new data, so that can be video data, that can be interviews, that can be student writing, whatever it is that's going to give them insight to what's working for their students.
That is one question I do have. What types of tools and support can I provide my students so they can feel comfortable asking their partners for clarification when they don't understand? So asking in English, because you could definitely say that in English. Based on the feedback from the other teachers in the inquiry session, I knew I wanted to focus on really encouraging students to make more eye contact in their discussions. And I also wanted to give students the opportunity to answer warm-up questions that weren't content specific, that were more personal. The number one goal is making the conversation natural. So today we're going to go with a question from one of you, and that is, if you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you go and why? Today I presented a warm-up prompt that was written by one of my students, and honestly it was one of the most engaging warm-up sessions I've ever seen. Who can translate this question? What would you do? ¿Qué harías? What would you eat? Yeah, what would you see? Exactly. I gave them about 10 minutes to write a written response in their notebooks. I gave them a sentence frame, but really encouraged them to move beyond that sentence frame. When you finish this, is it time to just put down your pencil and say, finished? No, okay? This might take you 2 minutes, 3 minutes. We have 10 minutes, so use the entire time to write. What did you write here? Did you write Brazil?
Yeah.
Oh, exciting. ¿Cómo?
País que necesita.
I see. It's a country in need, you think?
Yeah.
Think about 2 more things. 2 more things that you would like to do.
Okay.
Meet people.
La comida.
Yeah, eat food. Good. So who would you go with? That's another thing you can write about. Who would you go with? How long would you stay?
Like 2 years, and I
Oh,
will go,
2 years. That's a long visit.
I will go with a friend.
2 years, go with a friend. Would you work there if you're staying for that long, or would you just be visiting, traveling, having fun?
Should be seen.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, so write a little bit more detail. Then I gave them 3 minutes to discuss with a partner. Our main goal for this conversation time is to make this conversation really natural, right? So in the past, it's been easy to just have our conversation say, if I could travel anywhere in the world, I would travel to Mexico. Okay, finished, right? We don't want to do that. We want to keep the conversation going. If someone says, I would like to go to Mexico because I love the food. Yo quiero ir a México porque me encanta la comida. ¿Qué pueden preguntar? What can you ask after that? The food is good. Why do you like the food? Is the food good? Really remember to make eye contact with your partners and to also face your partners. Today, during our warm-up discussion, I videotaped Raul and Luis. These are 2 of my focal students who I've been following since the fall.
What things you like of Japan?
It's my dream since I was born. I went to go to the shop, I go to the restaurant, I eat the ramen.
Where states? ¿Qué lugares?
The Tower Tokyo, Hiroshima, and Kyoto. What do you like of Japan?
For me, I like the trees of sakura
Oh yeah,
and the schools,
yeah, and the concerts.
concert, the clothes.
Yeah.
Being able to really focus in on the progress of Raul and Luis and then to apply it to my 23 other students in the classroom has been just an eye-opening experience. So I will watch the video and then transcribe it. From there, I will probably watch it 2 or 3 more times and pull out different pieces of information about their discussion. I will think of some questions and bring that to the next inquiry session. How did that go? 3 minutes later, how'd you feel? Was it amazing, great, okay, like really scary and hard? Show me on your thumbs. I gave students time to fill out a post-discussion survey. So that was their time to reflect on the discussion that they just had. So what is something that you did really well, that you're very happy about? For example, I made eye contact with my partner, okay? Number 2, what is one thing that you can improve? Maybe that could be, oh, you know, I could probably ask more questions. ¿Por qué estaba difícil ver tu compañero?
I forgot to look at my face. My partner.
You forgot to look at his face? Yeah, but next time you can think about it. Since you wrote it down, this is one thing you'd like to work on. Then I gave time for students to share their discussion with the class.
I like mole, tamales, enchiladas.
I like enchiladas.
If I could travel anywhere in the world, I would travel to China.
Why do you visit China?
I would go to China because I think that is a good country.
With who went to you? Like with your mom, with your cousin?
Excuse me?
Kevin was not sure what Moni said. So did anyone hear what he asked? He said, "Excuse me?" That's a great way to ask for that clarification. One of the takeaways from the warm-up today was that students really responded well to this more personal question and how much they related to this question that came from one of the students in the class. I was pleasantly surprised with how many groups wanted to present, wanted to share their progress, share their discussion with the class. Watching that and seeing them grow and also have the confidence to come up and be so engaged is really exciting as a teacher.
There are many exciting results of this inquiry work, some of which really are around just creating conditions for teachers to learn together. But we see some very specific exciting results that really dovetail with what the research says about effective teaching. One of the results that we see is that teachers become more aware of who their students are and what they know and how they think. We know that that's really important in effective teaching.
We feel that the inquiry work is a really powerful tool for teachers. They're really internalizing this idea of taking a questioning stance in the classroom, that they might not have all the answers, but they know how to begin finding the answers.
The inquiry sessions are really a great opportunity to come forward with all of these questions, but also to celebrate the success of our students. So I'm excited to go to the next inquiry session and share my excitement with the other teachers about how engaged my students were today.